Warm again.
Yeah.
Pretty quick. We get out of this shade.
Yeah. I'll take it off.
Elevation is about 9,400 feet here.
I'll take it off. I take it off.
No, we're not stopping.
This thing's got brakes on it.
Well, we're in Las Vegas, New Mexico. It's about 72 degrees. It's about 3:40 their time. We stopped at the Walmart, got some oil and stuff. Then we didn't need the oil for some reason. And then we've come on down to Lowe's grocery store to get some chili powder. So we're decided to go on down the road on 84 and I-25, hit 84, go down to Santa Rosa, Fort Sumner, Clovis, into Texas. Eat supper somewhere along the way, take another little break. It's 9:30. We're in Muleshoe. We stopped for supper at the Dinner Bell. Their sign's not lit up, so it's not showing up. Boy, it was good. Burger, Philly cheese steak sandwich. So we're gonna try to find us a room here. Everything come out all right?
Yeah, I just had TT, but I'm gonna tell you what. You gotta. Some things you can't.
Well, it's Sunday morning, about 11 o'clock. We stopped at Post Overlook. Get out of our rain suits, get into a little cleaner. Well, this is where you need to come to pick up beer cans and aluminum cans.
That's what I'm just saying. If I had room for them, I'd pick them up.
I tell you, they ought to throw them in jail.
Throw them in jail. That's a good Baptist. They might have been Baptists up there drinking.
Might have been. Bud Light. They needed trash cans around here. They don't. Oh, there they are, right over there. We're up on the Cap Rock.
Are you listening to me? Or are you talking to you, Cameron?
Yes.
There was
Both.
Retired Baptist preacher in the senior choir, and he was getting a drink every somewhere, and he was getting a mixed drink. And Mama says, "I didn't think Baptists drank." He says, "Baptists just don't drink in front of Baptists."
Some Baptists do drink in front of Baptists.
I'm not a Baptist. Don't confuse. If you're directing that comment to me,
no, I'm just saying.
No Baptist. I am no Baptist, no Catholic, no Lutheran, no Ben. You think we're 200 miles from home, huh?
Yeah, roughly. We stopped at Merkel to get gas.
We have a low tire.
And had a bite to eat it. Derek Wayne. Gonna get back on the interstate to at least Abilene. Well, we stopped in Comanche about 3:15, 3:20, 3:30 at the Sonic. Got some water and ice cream. Gonna head on in. About 97 degrees. Cut down on what?
No more whining.
Well, quit it.
Huh?
You quit.
Quit. I don't whine.
Oh, yeah. Enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it too.
You know the way home?
I think I can make it.
Okay. Well, go ahead. I'm going to video you.
All right. Take care. Enjoyed it. I really did.
Yeah, me too. These are the still pictures that I took on the way to New Mexico and Colorado with Pat McNamara and Cecil Self. Didn't take any digital pictures until we were already in New Mexico. This is at Lake Conchas, and you can see the pavement is wet there. We got caught, almost got caught in a rain shower, but didn't quite get wet. And I planned to stop there anyway and check out the campground there, but it was still pretty hot there and early in the day, so we were going to go on to Las Vegas, New Mexico, another 75 miles, and a lot higher elevation and a lot cooler. And we just stopped there to get out of the rain and take a break. There's pad underneath the shelter. It was really nice and green there, but it looked like it was not too many people camping out there, and the lake was pretty low. I tried to take a picture of myself under the same canopy there at Lake Conchas, New Mexico. Lake Conchas is on Highway 104, about 40 miles northwest of Tucumcari, and 104 goes on into the from the east side of Las Vegas, New Mexico. Pretty nice, secluded state road there. We decided to spend the night there at Las Vegas at their campground, state park there. I think it's called Lake Collier or something like that. Collier or something like that. Right on Highway 518 on the north side of town. They had these picnic shelters, which were adobe and open in the front, partially closed with a window on each side, and then the back wall had about a half wall there and a picnic table underneath the shelter. So we were able to get in out of the rain with a shower that came in just as we got there, and we decided just to forego putting up the tent and for the night, and just put our air mattresses and sleeping bags down. And it was very nice there. The elevation there's about 6,600 feet, so it was nice and cool, and a good breeze blowing. We could hear it thundering and lightning, see the lightning around up in the mountains and stuff for a good while, and then, but we didn't get any more rain that night, so worked out pretty nice. This is a view of the lake off to the north, looking towards Taos area and the mountains in the far distance there. It's $10 a night per person, per bike, per vehicle, so not too bad. That's looking a little closer up view of the lake, and you can see the mountains a little bit better in the north there on the way to Taos and Mora. This was the next morning. The sun was just coming up, and we were already up and packing up and going to get showers and stuff and then head out towards Lake Valecito was the plan anyway. Beautiful sunrise with the sun coming up in the clouds. We went on up 518 through Mora and then headed north towards Taos, and we stopped at this roadside park way up in the mountains on the road down to Taos, and this is really a scenic area. You can see it's a beautiful day, and the mountain you see in the distance there is Mount Wheeler, which is the tallest peak in New Mexico. It's also where Ski Taos is resort, and it's probably 15-20 miles in the distance there, and we were going to head on down to Taos on 518. This is a view of our bikes looking back towards the east or southeast. Anyway, we ran into some road construction on 518 going to Taos a couple of different times. We got tired of waiting, so we had pretty much decided we were going to ride back down to Los Alamos and go across to Cuba, and so we just turned around on 518 and went back past the same roadside park you just saw in the previous pictures, and rode on over to Chimayo and Española, and that's where we encountered the 2 or 3 different funerals or something going on, and a lot of people and delays, And just as we were coming into Chamayo, there was a accident on the street we were on, or the little road called the high road to Taos, and which was a very scenic road. And we were probably held up 30 minutes while they cleared the accident out and got the vehicles and people out of the way. And we rode on over to Los Alamos, visited the visitor center there, picked up some free brochures and maps and stuff of New Mexico, and gassed up, and then rode on Highway 4, New Mexico Highway 4, to the west up into the mountains, past all the fire damage from a year ago or 2 years ago. And we had climbed up the mountain, and we were at the summit here, about 9,000 feet or so, and we could see the fire damage back in the valley there, and took some pictures here. That's I think it's Sangre Mountain out by Santa Fe, way off in the distance, probably 20-30 miles away. We were northwest of there, looking back that way. Another view down in the valley. That road coming up the mountainside there had it was pretty steep in general. A lot of fire damage on both sides of the road in some spots, and also some tight hairpin 10-mile-an-hour curves. But evidently the rain had washed some gravel out on the highway and made it even a little more treacherous. So, but it was very pretty. Anyway, we continued on Highway 4, went past the Vale Grande high valley with a lot of activity going on, with maybe a movie set or something, with a lot of vehicles on trailers and stuff. Maybe I suppose they were making a movie, and had a Wyoming police car on one of the vehicles, the trailers and stuff. Anyway, we headed south on Highway 4. This is going towards the community of Jemez, Jemez, Jemez Springs. And this, I believe, is the Jemez River. And 126 had split off from Highway 4, and 126 is the partial paved road, partial dirt road that leads over to Cuba. It's a shortcut across there, but it's got 15-20 miles of dirt roads, high mountain roads to go over, and so we didn't go that way. We came on down this way. This, I believe, is called Chocolate Falls. This rock formation here is across the river there, crosses through the riverbed, different looking rock and everything, and the water comes through the rock, comes out that big hole there you see with the pool of water underneath it, and pretty different looking. There's the water gushing through the hole, and you can see it cuts a tunnel through there, and they had had some rain, and the river was muddy and flowing pretty good through there. People were climbing all over the rock and in those cavities and over the top and down the face of it and stuff like that. Didn't see anybody fall or anything, but got some movie shots of the camera, with the movie camera of that. This is looking on down to the south towards Bernalillo and Jemez Springs, where we stopped for lunch at a little cafe. Anyway, we went on down and hit Highway 550 and headed north on 550 up to Cuba. Then we decided at Cuba to go ahead and call it a day, because it's getting late in the day. It's a long ways to Lake Valecita, and I knew about this really nice campground here, which is called Rio de la Vaca, or Rio del Vaca campground. There's another campground closer up the mountainside to Cuba called Clear Creek Campground. Both of them look really pretty. This one was in the middle of a bunch of tall pine trees, and we got the furthest one at the end, which proved to be pretty quiet, and just past Pat there, after we had our tents set up and everything, I was taking some pictures. there's a little creek that flows through there, which may be the Rio del Vaca, or Rio del Baca, which I believe is Cow River or something like that. There's another view of our campsite. There was another camper or two set up way down there, and then a trailer came in later. We just set up on the pavement. This is looking up the mountainside where I was standing previously. The pine trees there, blue spruce or whatever, were probably at least 100 feet tall. Looking back up across the river creek there at the other mountainside. This is the view of the creek. It wasn't this dark, but my camera flash came on and made it look dark. This is what it really looked like, and took some snapshots of this. We could hear this from our campsite, looking down the creek through the little rock obstacles there. This is the movie I took with the digital camera. This is our campsite east of Cuba, up in the mountains, about 8,500 feet. Our camp is up there on a nice level pad. The path walks down here to the little creek running over the rock. You can hear it from our campsite pretty good. Real tall trees. There's Pad up there. We've already had supper, leftover burritos from lunch. About ready to go to bed. It's 8:10 here, 9:10 Waco time. This is the next morning. We were packing up, just about ready to pull out. I think my bike is already loaded, and we're just about to load up Pat's. And yeah, my bike is loaded up. And here we are back in Cuba at McDonald's, eating a good, healthy breakfast with some great coffee that was so bitter you couldn't hardly drink it, so strong. Anyway, that other bike sitting there is one of the touring Trident 3 or Rocket 3 Triumphs. And there's a guy sitting in there. He had just bought this bike a year or two ago and was on his way back to Albuquerque. His name was Dave, by the way. He was from Durango and had ridden down to Cuba, 100 miles or so, and the temperature was, upper 50s or so, and all he had on was a t-shirt and blue jeans and a Camelback. But he was going to Albuquerque to get his bike, take it to the Triumph shop to get his 30,000 mile checkup, and he's going to have to leave it a day or so. So he's going to spend the night in Albuquerque and come back the next day, which should have been Wednesday. This was Wednesday, I believe. He'd be coming back Thursday to Durango. Anyway, nice guy. Turned out he was from Houston, so we talked to him a good while. His wife has a Softail Harley, real nice CVO bike. He was talking about putting a trailer hitch on this bike and hauling her bike on the trailer behind this one because it has so much power, the 2300 3-cylinder engine. This is Dave, real nice guy. Worked for Slumberjay oil business. Anyway, from Cuba we went on up 550 towards Bloomfield and Farmington, and we came to the intersection here where this Apache Nugget casino is with the roadside teepees. We stopped and took a little short break, and then from here we were going to head north on New Mexico 537, which links up almost at Dulce, New Mexico, way up in the mountains, with Highway 64. We're going to take Highway 64 over to the west towards Bloomfield, but we were right before we got to Bloomfield we turned off on the road going up to Navajo Dam and Reservoir. And this is way up on the mountainside. We had a couple of 10-mile-an-hour sharp switchbacks to make, and then we rode on down that road you see on the right side of the picture, curved around the mountain tip there, and then we rode across the dam to the far left side of the screen where you see the spillway. We stopped there, and there were a couple of truck driving training schools, trucks there, and half a dozen guys fixing to come up the mountain the mountain highway that we just came down. Little bitty, like a county road actually. There's another view of the road below and the reservoir. Real pretty, but it was down quite a bit. Water was clear, and went on up the 3 or 4 different fingers of creeks and rivers that flow into there. The San Juan flows into this, and maybe another creek or two. San Juan River. This is looking from beside the spillway, and they have a power plant down below, but you can't see it over the mound of dirt there. But you can see the water flowing away from the dam. Goes on down to Bloomfield and Farmington, Shiprock, and on down, and eventually runs into the Colorado River over at like Lake Powell or somewhere. This is looking back from the same spot. That's the spillway you see there, the rock spillway, and you see how pretty the lake is. There's also a big marina right around to the left of the spillway, and I don't know if I got any pictures of the spillway or not. No, I didn't. Or the marina. I think I may have gotten movie shots of it. Anyway, we went on north into Colorado. We stopped in Ignacio, Colorado, right off 172 and southeast of Durango, at this restaurant, the Patio Restaurant, and it was really good. The food was great, plenty of it, and prices were very reasonable. We were surprised in several different ways there. And we went on over, and out of Ignacio we went east just a little ways on Colorado 151, which eventually loops through the Navajo Reservation or some type of reservation, and meets up with Highway 160 over towards Pagosa Springs, but we didn't go that way. As soon as we crossed the Los Pinos River there at Ignacio, we turned left or north onto there's a Colorado County road, which was like a farm to market highway. Nice road, 521 I think it was, or 512, which took us right straight up to Bayfield, and then we crossed Highway 160 at Bayfield, went on up the Pinos River Valley on that same road, County Road 501 or 521 or something like that. I think it's 501. went on up to Lake Vegas-Waco-Still and our campground. And this is from the campground, just at the host's trailer there, the Hennets, Bob and Betty Hennets. There, that's a osprey nest, and he told us, Bob told us there was another nest further around up in the campground, but the osprey were coming and going to the lake all the time, and making their calls and stuff like that. There's a different view of the Hennets bighorn travel trailer with the osprey nest way up in the top of that lone pine tree. This is a shot from our campground looking down at the Lake Vegas-Waco-Still and the lake bed. But that travel trailer you see there, that is Lee and Lou Ann Sanders from Robinson. Calvin and Minnie Sanders' son and daughter-in-law. They pulled in right before we got there. And as soon as we pulled in our campsite, you can see how shiny and wet looking my Gold Wing and Pat's bike looks. It came a shower, but we had time to get our tents up and rain flies on and rocks in the tents so the wind didn't blow them away, and still had most everything in the tents out of harm's way from the water. So as you can see, it's wet, but the tents kept our stuff all dry. We were setting up under another rain fly that we had set up in a little stand of aspen trees, and used bungee cords. You can sort of see that little beige looking deal over Pat's hand and head there. We were sitting out of the rain up under the aspen trees under that rain fly. The water kept accumulating in it. We'd have to run it off. But the next morning, you can see it's a beautiful morning. I think it was a little bit cloudy, but you can see the lake in the distance and the vast walk of the lake bed down to the water level, maybe a quarter of a mile or 300 yards or so at least. Anyway, on the way out, we had to stop at the general store there and take the receipt back, the signed copy of the charge ticket, and gave that back to him. There's Pat walking out of the store, but this is where we bought the crackers and elk sausage and stuff like that the night before for our supper. Anyway, we rode on over to Pagosa Springs, up Wolf Creek Pass, and this is at that pull-off there, scenic overlook, and the information kiosk there with the little roof on top of it. Nice, pretty day so far. That's looking back towards Pagosa Springs to the southwest. You can see the clouds building already, but the sun was shining at that point on us. So. Anyway, we went on down to South Fork and turned west and northwest on Highway Colorado 149, and we went 4 or 5 miles, and it started showering on us. We pulled over as quick as we could, but we got wet, and then it started hailing on us, and we sat there probably 20 or 30 minutes in the hail and the rain, and didn't look like it was going to let up, so we headed on out towards Lake City, Slum Gully and Pass, Spring Creek Pass and stuff. Anyway, the rain let up after 2 or 3 miles, but it also caused some rocks to fall down on Highway 149. Some of them were big as beach balls on the road. Other ones maybe size of a football or something. And Pat and I went right through them. I didn't even see one of them, the smaller one. Anyway, we went on up over Spring Creek Pass, and then we ran into road construction. They stopped us for probably 20 or 30 minutes, seemed like forever. And it wasn't raining on us, but as soon as we started on up towards Slum Gully and Pass, it started raining on us again. We ran out of the rain, but when we started down from Slum Gully and Pass, the rain started again, coming down pretty good. The roads were really wet, and was just really taking our time on the corners especially. The cars were all backed up behind us from the road construction, and we were in the very front, so they just had to go slow like we were going. So, but I imagine everybody was a lot safer. I know we were. Anyway, we got down out of the rain, went down into Lake City, and we stopped at the Poker Alice little restaurant there and met Steve and Linda Martin, not Martin, Campbell, from that had moved up there about 6 years ago and bought this place, and they run this every summer. That's not Steve, that's one of their hired help. I think they hire a lot of people from overseas, foreign students, to come over here and work in the summer, because none of them spoke very